And so it begins. Florida State football is now into the realm of recruiting as official visitors galore are going to be on campus here in Tallahassee starting this weekend and ranging all the way through the month of June. So Michael Langston, senior recruiting analyst for Warchant.com, is here to discuss what's going on this weekend in Tallahassee. This is the weekend of May 30th, Friday, May the 30th, where Florida State has a lot going on in the realm of recruiting for 2026 and kids and future classes as well. Michael, today you're going to give us three things to watch out for this weekend as we cover
Yeah.
this head to toe, as you cover this head to toe. What are we starting with? What's topic number one today?
Well, I think immediately, because this is what excites me, is you got to talk about the impact of what, number one, what Herb Hand would have on this class as far as what he brings and what he does. You're hosting several offensive line, targets coming in this weekend. You certainly want to make a big splash. I think Sam Roseborough, certainly others in there that you I think so. To me, it's the impact of what kind of impact is he going to have in recruiting. We know he's really good at development. We know he's really good with that stuff. But this is really you've taken all the quizzes. Now it's time to take the master test of the essay. So this is the one where I think it'll really move the needle. A guy like Sam Roseborough, that's a guy that you have really good connections with. He's from Clearwater. You certainly know him really well. I've heard some good buzz about FSU and throughout the spring. So that's a guy, and just those kind of prospects, we really just need to see first off what he does and the impact of what these kids say of the kind of the body language we're picking up off of what these official visits are like in the summer, because a little different when you do official visits in the summer, because it's like you're not getting the game atmosphere. You're mainly focusing on what the program is and just what you're selling. It really sells what the program is currently, with this new staff, whether it's with Norvell or what they're doing, especially coming off that kind of season they had last year. It was a tough year. So I think really this will tell us a lot. That I'm really excited about what these prospects say after all these offensive linemen that when they visit, of what they have to say about Florida State.
Well, yeah, this is something where, at least from the social media area, we can see that Herb Hand is putting in work and he's making visits and personal connections. But you're right; those are merely quizzes. This is the big test coming up, and people, Michael, are desperate for him to be successful at this. People are looking so desperately at that class, 2026 class, and saying, "Can we bring in real offensive tackle bodies, for example, into the fold?"
Hmm.
Can we bring in guys that would project that actually as redshirt freshmen might be able to play? Herb Hand is going to have a big say in that. Topic number two this weekend that you're focusing on. What are you looking for?
Commit watch. That's what people want to know. Is there a guy that could potentially commit? And there is one that they added late in the week. Jacoby Green. He's originally from Gadsden County. I think transferred to Niceville. He might have transferred back. I don't know exactly where he's at, but what I do know is he's enamored by FSU, and they just offered him a few weeks ago. For those that don't know or need a recap of Jacoby, he's a guy that's always loved FSU. That's been his favorite school. He's camped here several times. Even came here in the spring early, hoping to get that offer. He didn't get that offer at the time, but then he got it later. But there's no question. If you know the recruitment, there's a lot of strong ties, even though he is committed to Mississippi State, that if FSU pushes and they push the right buttons and they click and that the comfort level is there, I think a flip is very quite possible. Very possible, and that's why I have him on commit watch. He's the guy that I'm a lot focused on, because I feel like if there's a connection there, it isn't about you needing to win him over, or you needing to show him. He's been to FSU a bunch of times. It's about your pursuit of him, and if the pursuit and the comfort hits, I think that's a guy. Certainly, I could see FSU flipping, because before this, he hadn't really wasn't even planning on taking other visits. I think the Mississippi State people kind of indicated to me like, yeah, he's been pretty firm and vocal about their class, but then once FSU offered, the wheels started working, and then bam, we see this official visit get set up, and so now that's the guy that I'm certainly going to keep an eye on. Locally, you would get a guy that locally wouldn't be far from home if it's FSU. So this is one that I think is it could get very interesting after this weekend.
This would be a good get for Florida State because right now he's listed as a 3-star, but you're looking at his offer list. Of course, he's committed to Mississippi State, but Ole Miss is after him, Florida's
Hmm.
after him, Miami is after him. This is a player also, as you saw on the screen, we put up the graphic earlier, 360 plus pounds. Oh my goodness. What is going on with high school kids in this generation? But six
And
three
it,
and a
and
half.
he's
Go
he's
ahead.
every ounce. He's every ounce of it. I've seen him in person. His body looks great. He's added a lot of good weight and very talented players. Mean streak plays with a really mean streak that I know. The other thing, that's the other thing. Herb Hand previously offered him at UCF, so that's kind of what I was waiting on. That was one offer I was waiting on because that was when he previously offered, and there's already been a previous connection there. So he knows him. He knows what talent he is, and I think when they watched the film and really studied it and took time and went through all the different offensive linemen, this is one that they felt like, you know what, this is a guy we like. Let's do it. Let's go after him. Let's see what can happen.
Of course, there'll be more details on the premium recruiting board as we go along this weekend. But Michael, speaking generally, you don't have to put a name on it. Anybody else? Do you think that there could be any commitments this weekend, or might that come later in the month of June?
Not anticipating ones this weekend outside of if you do, able to flip Jacoby down either this weekend or after it. But I think there's some guys that I mentioned Rosenborough. That's one that I feel like is very vital for them to really make a. That's one where I think that's really that'll be a picture of what Hand does as far as recruiting because that's one where you have ties, that's one you can get done. I think FSU is one of the lone in-state schools for him as far as his schools, and it just would make a lot of sense. And it would also show your recruiting prowess, as far as what you do with development. So I think that's one that I'm interested to see kind of what he says. I think most of these guys will be, later as far as decisions, as far as the June or July or whenever they decide. I don't think I'm not expecting somebody for sure to commit. But as we've seen on these official visit weekends, Tom, there's you can't dictate what somebody's going to do or if something changes because the one thing I've seen with official visits, they make a big impact on when they visit FSU. There's a pretty sudden change and sudden jolt as far as where FSU sits for that particular prospect. So I think there's certainly a lot of good ones, but I think it's also a very vital weekend that jumps into. I'll let you intro with the number three topic.
Yeah, number 3. So it sounds like between the first two topics, things to watch, that Herb Hand is going to be quite busy this weekend. And this is a very important weekend for Herb Hand. But I think number 3, we're expanding out to even
Yeah,
more members of the staff. So what's number 3 that we need to watch out for?
yeah. I think number three is to me is the buzz of the weekend. Uh, what generates from this weekend? Because it's like this is their first big test for this new staff. So it isn't just we talked about Herb Hand a lot, but you also have Terrence Knighton who's going to be hosting Kendall Gerville, a very talented four-star defensive lineman. We mentioned Roseboro, and then there's also Johnny Jones, who I think our Matt Lasser did a really good article on him, talking about the upcoming visit. I think, and that's another one where FSU is one of the lone in-state schools. So her pan's in there too, but Terrence Knighton, that's certainly a big one for him. And then they have a few guys they're trying to flip a three-star wide receiver in Camden Cahart, who's committed to Mississippi State. Then Tyreek Stevenson's another one that is in there as defensive back, Georgia Tech. So Sertain and even Evan Cooper will probably be involved. So I think as a staff, what I'm looking for, I want to see what generates from the buzz of the things that the recruits talk about. Whether it's just okay, it's a really good visit. I want to see different impacts of different things they talk about, whether it's NIL or something else, or just something to do with the school that's a personal connection. Because that I feel is the really big thing that if I was picking one thing, I'm really curious to see on Tom is what is the personal vibe from the kid when after this visit, not hey, I know Herb Hand develops players, or hey, I know Knighton did a really good job with those Nebraska defensive linemen. What is the personal connection to FSU with this new staff, and what kind of movement are we seeing? What kind of wave are we seeing as far as momentum and buzz? Because that will give you a sense of kind of what you're going to see in the June, where you see a lot more visits and certainly some really big visit weekends. So I think this really is a set the tone type of first official visit weekend. So that's what I'm going to look for. And that third topic is what is the buzz of the takeaway of what kind of impact can they make personally with the recruit? Not, hey, we're FSU. It's more what kind of connection is there that is lasting. That you see like, okay, they set the bar there. This is looking good. We're feeling it because you can feel the energy when there's a really good official visit weekend. You can feel the energy and buzz that is just different.
And that's all going to be documented live and in real time on the premium recruiting board at warchant.com. If you've not signed up yet, remember to do so. Head over to warchant.com and hit the join button. It's up in the top right-hand corner of the website. It's in green. You can't miss it. And it's $1 for your first week. This is a critical month for Florida State's new coaching staff, and it starts this weekend. But the recruiting noise, they hear it. They're on social media about it at times, not thrilled with fans' perceptions of what the recruiting is right now. And so here's the chance for the coaches to respond and for the coaches to show that that was a problem for the last staff. That's not a problem for this staff. So you want information on how Florida State is doing and attacking that problem, head over to the Premium Recruiting Board, Michael Langston's coverage. It's just $1 to join us at warchant.com. We've also got a feature coming up this weekend on Florida State landing a visit for a 5-star prospect. Be on the lookout for that. We might be wearing very similar clothing as we talk about that particular topic, but keep an eye out for it on Warchant TV. Make sure to like the channel and subscribe to the channel. It's always free. Go ahead, Michael.
I was just say, definitely got some good stuff coming up. I'll have a 10 to watch later this week. Might be even Friday. I can't promise, or later this weekend, but that's one that I'll be working on. And so we got a lot of stuff, and we'll have full coverage of all these official visits. So definitely stay tuned. I think it's a very pivotal weekend for FSU and this staff.
We will talk to you next time right here on Warchant TV. Head over to the website right now because as you're watching this, the visitors are rolling in.